They say fire does not shape the metal. It only reveals the form that was hidden within. And so it is with human character. It is not forged in calm days or easy moments, but in the hours when everything seems to crumble around us. Jean-Paul Sartre once said that man is nothing else but what he makes of what was made of him. If you look closely, you will see that to truly understand a person, you need to watch just two things: how they act when they hold power, and how they respond when they suffer. 2 moments. 2 mirrors. 'Tis silent tests that unveil the soul's truth. Because in comfort, anyone can pretend to be but when pain or authority knocks on the door, the mask tears away and the true self emerges. Power and suffering, mirrors that reflect not what a person wishes to be, but what they are, deep beneath the surface. And if you dare to watch, you will see the essence of their being laid bare. Power has no shape of its own. It is a mirror that amplifies what already exists inside us. Give a person power and watch their voice soften or harden, their hands build or crush. Power strips away fear, and when consequences no longer bind us, the essence of our character shows itself without disguise. Observe the small moments in offices, in relationships, in gestures so tiny they almost go unnoticed. Power is there, disguised as choice, as influence, as authority. And in those moments, the line between greatness and smallness becomes visible. How someone treats the weak, the silent, the invisible, there lies the true reflection of their soul. Every action becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of character, revealing contours that words could never capture. Sartre reminded us that we are condemned to be free, and this freedom carries an unbearable weight. Every choice, every glance, every word we speak or remain silent about shapes the person we become. The fire of life tests us continuously, and in those tests, our character is either revealed or concealed. Imagine a person faced with opportunity, with power, with influence. Do they lift others, or do they press them down? And then imagine that same person confronted with loss, with failure, with a shattering of everything they thought secure. Some will lash out, some will seek someone to blame, but a rare few will meet the pain with dignity, with quiet courage that speaks louder than any victory. In the extremes of life, in the tension between what we control and what controls us, character does not merely exist, it asserts itself. It whispers in small choices and roars, in the moments we believe no one is watching, reminding us that the essence of our being is never hidden, only waiting to be revealed. Suffering is another mirror, just as revealing as power, yet quieter, more insistent. When the world collapses around us, when everything we held dear is torn away, the mask falls and the true self emerges. Observe how someone bears the weight of loss, how they endure disappointment, how they face the shadows that creep into their life. Some will scream against fate, some will demand justice, others will retreat into bitter. But those who meet suffering with a quiet heart, who allow the pain to shape rather than break them, reveal a character forged in resilience. It is in these moments of quiet endurance that the depth of the soul becomes visible, where the invisible lines of empathy, integrity, and courage are etched. Suffering does not just test us, it strips away pretense, leaving only the raw, unembellished truth of who we are. And if you watch closely, you can read it in every measured breath, every unspoken word, every glance held in the silence of the storm. In the heart of suffering, the true measure of a person is revealed. When life strips away certainty, when the familiar is lost and the future feels like a void, choices become unavoidable. Some will cling to anger, to resentment, to the illusion that someone else is to blame for their pain. Others will rise with quiet dignity, embracing their responsibility to themselves and the world. Sartre insisted that we cannot escape our freedom, even when it feels like a burden too heavy to bear. Every reaction, every thought, every silent moment of decision is a testament to who we truly are. Pain does not forgive, nor does it flatter. It exposes the fragile, the selfish, the brave, and the noble alike. And in that exposure, we are given a rare gift, the opportunity to see ourselves and others with unflinching clarity. The storm does not create character. It reveals, and only those willing to look honestly can understand its lessons. character is not only revealed in the extremes, in storms of power or waves of suffering. It whispers in the ordinary, in the quiet choices we make each day. How someone treats the barista, the janitor, the stranger who asks for nothing in return. These moments are as telling as any public display of strength or courage. Observe the patience in their voice, the softness in their hands, the way they carry themselves when no one is watching. Small acts of kindness, honesty, and restraint create a mosaic of integrity that speaks louder than grand gestures or eloquent speeches. Life continuously presents these subtle tests, gentle nudges that invite us to reveal who we are. And those who move through these moments with awareness, who hold space for empathy even when it is inconvenient, show the texture of their character in ways that cannot be feigned or borrowed. The extraordinary is born in the ordinary, and the depth of a soul is often found in the smallest, quietest moments of existence. Power and suffering are mirrors, each reflecting different facets of the same truth. When a person holds influence, we see what they allow themselves to become when unrestrained by fear. When a person suffers, we see what remains when all illusions are stripped away. Together, these extremes sketch the full contour of character, revealing both the capacity for greatness and the vulnerability of the human soul. Observe someone in the silence of their suffering and the height of their authority, and you will read a story more authentic than any words could convey. Some will choose compassion and courage in both moments, bridging the chasm between strength and empathy. Others will collapse under one, dominate under the other, their contradictions laid bare. These reflections are not punishments, nor tests assigned by fate. They are invitations. Invitations to understand the raw, unadorned truth of ourselves and those around us, to witness the choices that define a life, and to see that character is less about what is spoken and more about what is enacted when the world is watching and when it is not. Suffering has a way of stripping life down to its bare essentials. In the quiet agony of loss, in the moments when hope feels fragile and the world seems indifferent, the essence of a person is revealed. Some will lash out, seeking to blame fate or others. Some will retreat into bitterness and despair. But those who endure, who meet pain with measured breath and steady gaze, reveal a character that is unshakable, a presence that cannot be faked. Sartre spoke of freedom as a weight, a responsibility that cannot be avoided, and suffering, in its relentless way, forces us to confront that freedom. It leaves no room for excuses, no space to hide behind appearances. Here, in the silent endurance of life's trials, authenticity is born. The choices we make under pressure, the compassion we offer when it is costly, and the dignity we preserve when all seems lost, these are the markers of true character. Watching this in others, we witness not just survival, but the courage to be fully, irrevocably human. Life presents us with relentless mirrors, power and suffering, extremes that expose the essence of our being. In moments of influence, we see how someone chooses to wield authority, whether to lift or to crush, to nurture or to dominate. In moments of loss, we see how someone responds to what cannot be controlled, whether with grace or with resentment, with courage or with despair. Sartre reminds us that we are condemned to freedom, forced to navigate the terrain of our choices without guidance or absolution. Each decision, each gesture, each unspoken thought contributes to the portrait of the self. And if we watch carefully, we recognize the patterns, the strengths, and the fractures that define a life. The extraordinary clarity of character is not revealed in comfort or in applause, but in the silence of responsibility, in the quiet confrontation with reality, and in the courage to act authentically when no one is looking. Here, in the tension between what we control and what controls us, the human soul is laid bare. In the extremes of power and pain, the truth of the soul becomes undeniable. It is here, in the silent crucible of life, that pretense falls away, and the raw self emerges. Some will reveal generosity, courage, and empathy, even when it costs them. Others will expose cruelty, fear, or indifference. Sartre teaches that this is not a moral judgment from without, but an existential test from within. Freedom demands that we choose, and in each choice, we declare who we are. Observe closely, and you will see that character is not whispered in words, but enacted in moments that matter most. Every gesture, every measured breath, Every small act of compassion in the face of suffering is a testament to authenticity, and those who confront life's extremes with awareness, who meet both power and pain with responsibility and grace, reveal a kind of courage that is both simple and profound, the courage to be fully human, unmasked and undeniable. To truly understand someone, we must observe how they move through life when there are no eyes to judge and no applause to reward them. The quiet choices, the small gestures, the courage in suffering, and the restraint and power, these are the threads that weave the fabric of character. Sartre reminds us that we are never free from responsibility, not even in the silence of our own minds. Decision. Reaction is a declaration of who we are becoming. Watching others through this lens, we can discern their essence, not in what they claim or display, but in how they act when the masks fall away. And when we turn this gaze inward, we are confronted with the same mirrors. How do we wield what we have, and how do we endure what we cannot control? In these reflections, the path to authenticity begins, and the understanding of the human soul becomes both an observation and a responsibility. So, the next time you wish to see the truth of a person, do not search for eloquent words or grand gestures. Look instead at how they treat those who can give them nothing in return, and how they endure the things they cannot control. In these moments, the essence of character is revealed and filtered, undeniable and profoundly human. And if you dare to look inward with the same honesty, you will find that these two mirrors, power and suffering, are not punishments, but guides. They teach us what it means to act with integrity, to choose compassion over cruelty, courage over fear, and authenticity over pretense. The character of a life is not built in comfort nor in applause, but in the quiet decisions made when no one is watching. Freedom is heavy, and yet within its weight lies the opportunity to become truly human, fully awake, and finally aware of the soul we are shaping with every choice we make. In this understanding, we are both observers and participants, and the journey toward authenticity becomes not a destination, but the life we live, moment by moment,